Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. And of course, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, we have Mama Melody Cruz, we have Dr. Cynthia Ailes, we have Mr. Pedro Arao, and of course, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan.
Also, our Chief of the SGOD, Sir Virgilio Santos,
Yes.
and the Chief of the CID, Ma'am Aida Rondilla. Maraming salamat po sa inyo pong lahat. Again, the 107 principals, and huwag natin kalilimutan ating mga education program supervisors,
Yes, sir.
and also district supervisors. Maraming salamat po. Also, we have the parents natin, no, our SPG. They're also here as representative of their schools, bilang mga leaders to bawat paaralan natin. So welcome, team po. Partner, kahit tayo ay naka-virtual meeting, we have also some special number na mamay matutunghayan natin. So as if talaga tayo nagkakaroon ng face-to-face program. So ito yung maganda sa tinatawag nating virtual or the virtual Zoom meeting. Kaya mamaya po makasaksihan po natin ang kagalingan po ng bawat estudyante na Maynila. And also the
Yes, sir. And no, medyo may konti lang tayo sa technical problem, but please bear with us. Please stay seated and stay present. In a short while, we'll be starting our program.
So at this point, mga kaibigan, before we start our program, once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this video.
Ito ang malasakit ay isang puso. Magbayanihan tayo't magbrigada. Halina Pilipinas at magbrigada. Besar dating eskwela. Besar dating eskwela. Besar dating eskwela.
De Luna,
Present!
Herrera,
Present!
Valera,
Present!
Handa ba tayo sa school year 2020?
Present!
Ngayong taon, ang edukasyon tuloy pa rin. Sa tulong ng DepEd, mga guro at mga magulang, ang handang isip, handa bukas. Tuloy-tuloy ang pag-aaral. May mga lessons para sa iba't ibang antas. Sa government TV, maging sa radyo, mahalagang ligtas ang ating mga estudyante guro. Kaya kahit nasa bahay, tuloy ang edukasyon. Kung tulong-tulong, may paraan, may aralan.
Handang isip, handa bukas.
Bisitahin ang DepEd Philippines sa Facebook at ang deped.gov.ph.
Okay, that's it, partner. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first online stakeholders convergence. Today is August 4, 2020. It's Tuesday. With our team for this year's stakeholders convergence, pagpapanatili ng bayanihan tungo sa kalidad ng edukasyon para sa kabataan. So let me remind everyone that we are live via Zoom and in our official Facebook account, DepEd Manila, and our YouTube, SDO Manila TV. So to start our program, I would like to request everyone to stand at attention for the singing of the national anthem to be given to us with the award-winning choir ensemble under the baton of Mr. Michael de la Peña, the Ramon Magsaysay Chorale, to be followed by the invocation or the learner's prayer to be led to us by the Supreme Student Government and Supreme People Government for school year 2020-2021.
silanganan sa dibdib mo'y buhay, lubang hinirang, tulad ka ng magiting sa manlubi. Di ka pasisingin sa dagat at bundok, sa simulan, sa langit mong makaw. May nilatang tula at awis na paglalang minamahal, ang kislap ng wataw at may tagumpay na naglilingin, ang bituing nataraw niya kailan kami magdidilim. Lupa ng araw na lumayan, ipasin na ay langit sa piling mo. Kami ligaya na ay mga ating ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Amang makapangyarihan sa lahat, na may likha ng lahat ng bagay, bukal ng buhay at lahat ng biyaya. Kami po'y buong pusong dumudulog sa iyong kadakilaan. Salamat po sa iyong walang hanggang pag-ibig, proteksyon at pagpapala.
Amang banal, sa mahalagang araw po ito, gaganapin ang virtual Stakeholders Convergence na naglalayong mag-iisa sa akbagin at halika para sa patuloy ng pagkatuto naming mga mag-aaral sa kabila ng hamon ng pandemya.
Buong kakabaang loob po kami humihingi ng iyong ipagpanumpayalagay na samahan kami sa gawain ito. Dalangin namin ang matagumpay na paglalakad ng plano sa pagpapatuloy ng balikan sa gitna ng hamon ng pandemya sa pamumuhunan ng samahan ng
Ayon sa Bayanihan ng mga issue at problema kinakaharap at magpakita ang sa bawat kwento ng aming guro sa tulong ng aming mga maayos sa kabuti ang lahat ng kinakailangan sa iba't ibang pamamagitan. Nawayan sa bigyan pansin ang naging kabahagi at magiging kabahagi ng iba't ibang programa at inisyatibong magiging daan upang may pagpatuloy ang pagkatuto at ang pagtatalaga ng bawat kabalikan na may puso sa hangarin sa Diyos. Pag-isahin niyo po ang aming mga magulang, puro sa aaralan, opisyal ng komunidad ng mga lingkungan, kasama ng mga bagay individual, organisasyon, kanya tungo sa kolektibong adikan. Sa paggamit ng kalidad na edukasyon maghahatid sa aming mga mag-aaral sa magandang bukas. Tulungan po ninyo sa buhay ay gamitin namin ang aming kalayaan na laging kalakip ang pananagutan. Pagpapahiriin mo ninyo sa aming puso at isipan ang kababaang pag-ibig at pagmamalasakit sa kapwa upang maging higit sa makakapuluhan ang lahat ng kaalamang aming matutunan. Maging instrumento ng gawa ng pagkakagisa, pagbabago at pagtundan sa lahat ng magkakataon.
Lahat po ito itinataas namin sa iyo, Ama, sa makapangyarihang pangalan ng iyong anak na si Jesus at ng kanyang banal na Espiritu Santo. Amen.
Maraming salamat, Ramon Magsaysay High School at selected officers of SG, and SPG. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Ms. Melody P. Cruz, for the opening remarks.
To our Admirable City Mayor, Honorable Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso, To our inspiring schools division superintendent, Dr. Maria Magdalena Lim, CESO 5. To our energetic assistant schools division superintendents, headed by Sir Pedro Arao, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan, and Dr. Cynthia Alias. To our intelligent division chiefs, Sir Virgilio Santos of SGOD and Ma'am Aida Rondilla of CID. To our responsible supervisors and principals, and of course, to our precious stakeholders, friends, good morning. In behalf of our schools division superintendent, Dr. Maria Magdalena Lim, we would like to welcome everyone to SDO Manila Stakeholders Convergence with the theme Pagpapanatili ng Bayanihan tungo sa kalidad na edukasyon para sa kabataan. Here is a good thing to consider during these challenging days. Everything in this world can be an inspiration. Discover it. Every moment that passes is precious and is irreplaceable. Cherish it. Every person we meet is a gift. Value the relationship. Everything that happens in life has a purpose. Thank God for it. Life is beautiful beyond measure. Treasure it. As learning must continue even in these challenging times, we are deeply thankful to have you as our partners to make this happen. Lastly, my advance congratulations to the Lady of the Hour, Ms. Elizabeth Nunez, our Education Program Specialist 2 for Social Mobilization for this undertaking. Good job, Ma'am Beth. Thank you, and again, good morning.
Thank you very much once again, Ms. Melody P. Cruz, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent. Ladies and gentlemen, let us listen to the SGOD Chief, Sir Virgilio A. Santos, to acknowledge the partners and all the participants of the Stakeholders Convergence and to give the statement of purpose.
Thank you very much. Lalong-lalo na po sa nagsalita kanina, makita lang natin ang mukha ni Ma'am Melody. Palagay ko lahat tayo magliliwanag ang ating araw. Napakaganda ng ating bagong Assistant Schools Division Superintendent at yung kanyang sinabi, talagang nakapagbibigay ng buhay sa bawat isa sa atin. Siyempre, sa pamumuna po ng ating Schools Division Superintendent, si Dr. Magdalena Lim, sa lahat po ng ating mga Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, kumpleto na po tayo. Meron na po tayong power team para pamunahan ang ating division. Si Ma'am Cynthia Aides, si Sir Pedro Arao, si Attorney Kasangkapan, nakahapon ay nanumpa na. Siyempre po kasamahan namin mga chief. Sa lahat po ng ating mga punong guro, alam natin na lahat ay narito sila. Kasama po yung ating mga focal person ng partnership. Sa atin pong mga student leaders kasama. At sa atin pong mga iba pang kasamahan. Napakaganda rin po ng panalangin ng ating mga mag-aaral. Naglalarawan po yan kung paano yung partnership na siya po pag-uusapan ngayong umaga ay kitang-kita doon sa kanilang panalangin. So, Miss Karen? Ano na yung ating presentation? Bakit po ba tayo narito ngayong umaga? Ano po, kanina pa natin nakikita, SDO Manila Stakeholders Convergence. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin nitong SDO Manila Stakeholders Convergence? Ito pong SDO Manila Stakeholder Convergence is a platform for collective engagement of various sector groups to support in the effective implementation of our basic education learning continuity plan. Ito po yung plataforma na gagamitin natin sa bagong normal. Dahil po sa pangyayari ngayon, nagkaroon ng pagbabago ng paraan ng ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa ating mga partners. dati, pupunta sila sa paaralan, tutulong sa paglilinis, pagbibigay ng anumang mga gamit. Subalit dahil po sa pangyayari ngayon, kailangan nating magkaroon ng konting pagbabago. So ito po yung tinatawag natin ng SDO Manila, Stakeholder Convergence. Tuloy-tuloy po ito ng plataforma, hindi po ito one-time, big-time activity na gagawin natin. In fact, ito po ay follow-up sa mga una nating nagawa at ano pa yung gagawin natin sa loob ng isang taon. No po, meron po kasi tayong tinatawag yung Brigada Eskwela Plus, which is a year-long activity. And in that activity, we need our stakeholders and partners. So what are the objectives of this convergence? Number one, minention na po kanina ni Ms. Tess, no? Kung unang-una po dyan, bakit tayo merong ganitong pagbabago? Hindi man po natin nakakausap yung ating mga partners na narito ngayon, ay mas lalo pa po natin itingin yung ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa kanila. We have to strengthen our engagement with them. At nagpapasalamat po tayo sa napakarami nating partners. Alam natin at humihingi po kami ng paumanhin sa ating mga partners dahil po sa kakulangan din siyempre ng ating teknolohiya, hindi natin ma-accommodate lahat. Pero yun pong imbita natin ngayon ay nagre-representa po ito ng partners natin sa iba't ibang mga sektor, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga paaralan. Pangalawa po, bakit po tayo merong ganitong convergence, ay para naman po mabigyan natin ng highlights na po ano po yung mga inisyatibo ng ating mga partners para sa ganun po nakita natin paano po ito na po complement doon sa mga programa natin dito sa SDO Manila, lalong-lalo na po ngayon sa panahon na ito ng ating pong focus sa yung tinatawag po natin na Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. Actually, ang ating pong mga partners, marami po silang mga initiative. At ang gusto po natin ngayon sa panahon ng pandemic na ito, naka-align po yung ating mga initiative na po. Hinatin po natin inyan into 5 clusters. Halimbawa po yung health and safety cluster. Marami po tayong mga partners ngayon na ganito na po ang kanilang mga focus. Halimbawa po yung compliance to medical and health requirements. Halimbawa po ang ating mga paaralan. Kulang po dito sa mga medical and health facilities and needs din. Paano po tayo makakomply dyan? When it comes to health and safety, ano po ang mga partners natin? Sino po yung mga partners na pwede natin pong makasama ukol dito? Compliance to safety protocols and minimum health standards. Nakikita na po namin nakapost sa ating mga paaralan, iba't ibang mga private sectors, and even our local government ay patuloy na nagpo-provide ng assistance. Kasama din po dito yung sa cluster 2 natin, so education quality. Ito kasama po dito yung monitoring and learning on distance. Parents' readiness on use of technology and learning for early grades. So bawat isa pong cluster ay binigyan po natin ito ng mga tiyak na mga taong tututok para po matugunan natin yung pangangailangan. Sa curriculum and instruction and modalities, kung hindi po natin maipoprovide dyan yung quality na sinasabi po natin, nahihirapan po tayong ma-achieve. Lalong-lalo na po ngayon sa panahon na ito, yung sa module development and other teaching and learning activities, so education quality po ating focus dyan. Ang pangatlo po na cluster na tinututukan natin ngayon is current ay yung pong access to learning. Alam na po natin na talagang yung face-to-face ay hindi na po muna kailatik na magagawa. Kaya yung pong access to learning ang ating pong hinahanap dito ng mga partners, yung pong makakatulong sa atin para po doon sa distance or remote learning. Halimbawa po dito yung internet connectivity and infrastructure para mas lalo po nating mapatatag ang internet connectivity ng ating mga paaralan at yung pong mga access to learner with special education needs. Hindi po natin pwedeng pabayaan ng ating mga paaralan ng special education needs. At lalo na po yung mga production and printing of healthcare. Sa kasalukuyan po, nagsasagawa po tayo niyan, subalit mas higit po namin kailangan yung tulong. So ito po ay sa pangunguna ni Ms. din sa tulong ng ating mga kasamahan. Ang cluster 4 po, ito po kasing 5 cluster na ito yung kabuuan kung paano natin ma-deliver yung quality education. Yung governance po, ito yung importante din natin. Natutuwa po tayo ngayon pa lang bago pumasok ang Agosto, marami po tayong capacity building of teachers sa iba't ibang mga partners natin. So, TA for official principal, our staff on time, access to ICT equipment, access to duplication of printing materials, yung po mga retrieval process na ginagawa natin, paano po natin yan mapagtutulong-tulungan. At ang pinakahuli po, siyempre, yung po ating continuous partnership with school, with our stakeholders, and how shall we generate resources for our schools and the different work immersion program also, so that our learner will also experience the work immersion during this time of pandemic. So yan po yung ating dahilan kung bakit po tayo narito ngayon. Mas palalalimin pa po natin ng ating ugnayan para yung problem na kailangan natin ngayon.
Dito Jeff, partner ko. Hindi na siya babalik ng bodega?
List of partners. Karen.
Yes, sir. Ano lang?
Miss Karen, next slide please. Yung list of partners natin, nandiyan ba? Okay. So, muli, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Ayan po ang ating mga partners. Ano po, nakakulage po sila. Ibig sabihin, pag tinignan po natin yan, bumubuo po siya ng isang banig. Yung pong banig na yan, pagka nakatikitingnan nyo, napakagandang tingnan. Yan po ang simbolo ng ating convergence na yung umaga ito. At kung mawawala po yung isa dyan sa mga partners na yan, kita ninyo, humina agad, hindi na maganda yung ating ginagawang weaving. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, sa lahat po ng mga narito ngayong umaga. Talagang galak na galak po kami at kagabi excited na kami na makaniig namin kayo kahit po sa virtual stakeholder convergence. Muli po, magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Virgilio Santos. At this point, SDO Manila conceptualized this local stakeholders convergence to purposely gather both internal and external stakeholders to know each other, to recognize their contributions to the Department of Education, and at the same time, for us to determine the cooperation and participation and the level of understanding in terms of partnership networking and the need for social distancing. Distance learning will be a major component of learning delivery for the incoming school year. To fully orient and inform everyone how this will be done, let's watch this short video clip prepared by the STO Manila.
Puso, 25,392 na ang kaso ng COVID-19 sa Pilipinas.
Kaya sa inyong lahat for all your sacrifices over the last couple of years.
Ng mga magulang mind, take doon sa plano nila na mag-open na uli ng school year by June, mas maaga.
Hindi pa safety masyado na magbukas ang ating eskwelahan ng June.
Okay.
In the case of Manila, nagtanong na sila diretso and they are exceeding the DepEd standards already. Sinabi mo?
Pwede sila, mga magulang, ng bata.
Meron ding yung online delivery.
110,000 na tablet
para sa mga batang Maynila.
Marami ng pagsubok ang hinarap ng bayang Pilipinas. Medyo't pinahang, ngunit tayo'y manatiling matatag. Itong libong buloy maging isa sa alikaing ilalakad. Panatiliin ng bayanihan, edukasyon para sa kabataan. At sama-sama ang pagtulong at pagsikapan. Brigada natin to, magkapit-isig Pilipino. Magtulong-tulong tayo, ipakita sa mundo. Brigada natin to, ang malasakit na sa puso. Magbayanihan tayo't magbrigada, sa ating eskwela. Brigada natin to, magkapit-isig Pilipino. Magtulong-tulong tayo't ipakita sa mundo. Brigada natin to, ang malasakit ay sa puso. Magbayanihan tayo't magbrigada. Halina Pilipino't magbrigada, sa ating eskwela. Sa ating eskwela. Let's start ating eskwela.
Maraming salamat po. At upang lalo pa nating maunawaan ang pagpaplano at kahandaan ng SDO Manila sa tinatawag na New Normal in Education, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome to discuss the contextualized learning continuity plan, our very own Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim.
Morning, everyone. To our beloved Honorable Mayor Francisco Isto Moreno Dumagoso, our stakeholders and partners from the different sectors, private schools, parents, students, teachers, our principals, our SDO officials, the 4A SDSS, Dr. Cynthia Ailes, Dr. Melody Cruz, Mr. Araw, and Attorney Tony Kasangkapan, the chiefs of the different services. Welcome again to the first virtual Stakeholders Convergence in SDO Manila. I thank God for this opportunity to communicate with you the contextualized DepEd Learning Continuity Plan. And I thank you all for responding to our invitation. So let me start now with my presentation. JC, next slide. So I have three parts in my presentation. First is the DepEd Manila profile and performance indicators. And this would include the pre-COVID scenario. Next is contextualizing the DepEd Learning Continuity Plan, making education work in Manila under the interim COVID-19 pandemic. And the third is issues and resource gaps, bringing stakeholders together for DepEd Manila. Okay, so for the first part, DepEd Manila Education Profile and Performance Indicators. Next slide, JC. You have on the screen the enrollment summary from 2017 to 2020. 2017 is when we started our senior high school. As you can see from the graph, the enrollment increased from 2017 to 2018, but remarkably decreased comes 2019. But now in 2020, it increased again, having an enrollment of 293,840 as of July 30, 2020. Next slide. For 2020 enrollment data, broken down into different grade levels in elementary, you can see on the screen that the highest enrollment is seen in grade 2, so that the total is 185,839 for elementary. We have also the SPED 2,297 and the ALS 5,657. For secondary, grade 7 up to grade 12, JC, next slide. Highest enrollment is in grade 7, 25,610. SPED is only 90, ALS is 1,451, having a total of 94,746. Okay, next slide. To summarize our enrollment as of July 30, 2020, we have a total enrollment in elementary of 185,839, junior high school 94,746, high school 13,255, with a total of 293,840. 9,079 are transferees from private schools, while 17,478 are from other cities in NCR, and others are from other provinces. Shall we move on to the next slide? Number of schools in public schools, elementary is 72, junior high school is 33, senior high school 23, integrated, that means in one campus, kinder up to grade 10 is present. These are 4, and integrated K to 12 is 3. We have 1 elementary in SUC in PNU, 1 junior high school also in PNU, and 2 senior high school, both in PNU and UDM. For private schools, the total is 391. And summing them up, we have a total elementary, junior high school, senior high school, schools in Manila, which is 524. So we go to the next slide. The number of teachers in public schools are the following: elementary 6,257, junior high school 3,652, senior high school 441, with a total of 10,350. If we are going to divide it with the total enrollees for the different levels, we have the ratio as reflected on the screen. So the average for elementary is 30, junior high school is 26, senior high school is 30, while the total is 20. It is seemingly ideal class size. However, reality check reveals an average of 1:40 or 1:45 ratio of teacher to student, because some teachers are handling auxiliary functions like librarian, guidance counselor, clinic teachers, property custodian, and so forth. So we go to the next slide. Number of classrooms in public schools. For elementary, considering the number of classrooms, which is 3,520, and the enrollment in elementary, we get a ratio of 1:38. For junior high school, 1:45. Senior high school, 1:40. But this is of 2-shift scenario. If we are going to consider a single shift, we will have a class size of approximately 1 classroom is to 80 up to 100. That's why we resorted to 2 shifts. Next slide, please. For the KPIs, or the key performance indicators in elementary, we have the net enrollment rate that will tell us the percentage of enrollment of a particular age bracket versus the population in that particular age bracket. So for elementary, it is increasing over time. Our recent data is of 2018 to 2019, because all these KPIs are generated in the central office, and it has always a 1-year downtime. So it's increasing, except for 2018 to 2019, which is slightly, where in fact it is the recorded highest raw enrollment data. For completion rate, it is also increasing, transition rate increasing, school leaver is decreasing, which is a good thing, and retention rate is also increasing. So for KPIs, we are performing more or less. For secondary, next slide, sad to say that our net enrollment rate in secondary is decreasing remarkably in the past 2 years, 85.60% 2 school years ago. Completion rate, meanwhile, is increasing. So do with transition rate. And the school leaver is also decreasing, like in elementary, which is 1.81, which is also a good thing. And retention rate is also increasing. So overall, the performance indicators of SDO Manila over the 5 years are all reflective of good performance. But for the quality measured by National Achievement Test results, we have a recent NAT in 2018 for grade 6. The bars there reflects of the mean percentage scores got by the students in the different subject areas. And you have noticed that the dominant bar is the gray bar, which is moving towards mastery. It means that the students, more students got 66 to 85 MPS, except in English, where it got a higher level of proficiency, closely approaching mastery with MPS of 86% to 95%. There are some percentage of approaching average, or I should say the average, which is 36 to 65 MPS. There are also numbers of low level, particularly in math, which is 51 in number. So let's move on to secondary. Next slide. Contrary to elementary, the most dominant bar in secondary is the pink bar, which reflects the average. That means most of the students in secondary have 36 to 65 MPS. So we still have to improve the quality of education delivery in secondary. Okay, so next. So knowing the historical data of our performance, here is our targets for 2022, and that is 3 years from now. So for net enrollment rate, we are targeting 95% in elementary, while 90% in secondary. 75% passing rate in accreditation and equivalency tests in ALS, and increased efficiency in all of the following indicators, as you see on the screen. All in dropout, transition, cohort, and completion rate. Although we are performing well already, we are still going to target a much higher performance in the next 3 years. Next slide, please, JC. For quality and relevance, we hope to increase proportion of students moving towards mastery from 49 to 58%, and for junior high school from 36 to 45%, and for senior high school with the baseline data of low, we are aiming to increase mastery from 14.76 to 26%. We are also targeting zero non-readers in all grade levels, 100% independent readers in junior high schools and senior high schools, and 75% independent readers in grade 6. And we are targeting 100% numerates in all grade levels. So that's it. That is the background or the profile of SDO Manila. Let me go to part 2, which is contextualizing DepEd LCP, making education in Manila work under interim COVID-19 pandemic. This is the biggest challenge ever encountered in the history of men in our time, the COVID pandemic. Amidst the loud clamor of many to put schooling on hold because of the life-threatening COVID-19, DepEd stood firm in its decision with approval of President Rodrigo Duterte, that learning shall continue. These are the words of our Secretary Leonor Briones. The Learning Continuity Plan is our major response and our commitment in ensuring the health, safety, and well-being of our learners, teachers, and personnel in the time of COVID-19, while finding ways for education to continue amidst the crisis for the upcoming school year 2020-2021. So let me start now. So, DepEd has identified 4 learning delivery modalities. The face-to-face, which is the old normal. The blended learning, which is good for the low risk to moderate risk areas in the country, where face-to-face is combined with online learning, but face-to-face is with restriction, limiting students in classroom from 15 to 20 students only, and at a certain schedule. Now, the third is the distance learning, where there is no face-to-face at all. It's purely home-based. Now, the fourth is homeschooling, which is applied by some of our private schools, and this was done even pre-COVID times, where students just study at home, but their teachers are their parents or their guardians mainly, and their grades are just computed via an annex or an attachment to a private school. But NCR, because we are high-risk divisions, we are implementing the distance learning. So what about for Manila? Let's move on. So all the cities in the divisions in Manila are going to implement distance learning. So what is the learning delivery modality for Manila? So definitely it will be distance learning. So distance learning for Manila is both modular and online. Modular because it will compose a self-learning module lessons contained in SML or the SLM, self-learning modules, but it will be delivered online. And for online delivery, there are 2 requirements, the gadgets and the internet. But we are lucky here in Manila, the city of Manila, because our beloved mayor, the whole city government of Manila have invested in our students and in our teachers, the different gadgets, including the internet. So, kanina, binanggit ni Mayor that we have allocated 110,000 tablets for all the learners, but with the surge of enrollment, almost 20,000 increase over past year's enrollment. Just yesterday, the local school board convened and have allocated an additional tablets of 26,950, totaling now to 136,950 available for students. And for our teachers, there are 11,000 laptops for teachers, more than enough for them. We are saving a buffer for our new hires up in the upcoming weeks. And for internet, this is in a 1:1 basis. Previously, the allocation was only for 275,000 learners, but because we have now 293,000 plus learners, and which keeps on growing, we have an additional. Hello, Aaron. Okay, so thank you. For the meantime, I'm going to segue for our guest speaker, and we are lucky because our beloved mayor has really responded to our invitation to be here with us in our first virtual stakeholders convergence. Thank you. So I'm going to give the mic now to our MCs, Sir Emmanuel and Desiree.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am, Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim. Napakapalad po natin ngayong araw na ito na sa kabila ng kanyang sobrang busy schedule, dahil siya po ay napakasipag, mabait at supportive sa larangan ng edukasyon sa mag-aaral ng Maynila, mas pinili po niya makasama natin ngayong umagang ito. Ladies and gentlemen, to give his inspirational message to everyone, ang ama ng Maynila, Honorable Mayor Francisco Isko Dumagoso.
Hi everyone. Hi.
Hello po, sir. Good morning po.
Morning,
Mayor.
Good morning, sir.
Mayor.
Morning po.
Morning, Mayor.
Morning, Mayor.
Mayor.
Mayor, good morning po.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor.
Thank you. Una,
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning po, Mayor.
Good morning
I'm
po,
happy.
Mayor.
Good morning po.
Hello.
Mayor.
Nawala. Hello. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Hi. Okay. Okay. Una,
Aba si Marilyn
una, maraming salamat kay Dr. Magdalena Lim at sa ating DCS family.
Mayor.
No, sa opportunity na makita ko kayong malulusog lahat. Mahirap ang buhay ngayon, mapanganib. No? But anyway, nakisuyo ako na mabati ko man lamang kayo dahil meron akong 11 o'clock na meeting. I just want to update you, no? In the city of Manila, I am grateful to Dr. Lim and the members of the DCS family and the school board family. When a few months ago, where DepEd announced to adopt into a new mode of education, which is blended distant education, your city government was the first to adopt and heeded the call of the Honorable Secretary. We appropriated almost about instantly at 900 million, then it became 1,065,000,000. Wherein, if we are expecting 275,000 on YOY or year on year, past history of the city and growth rate of our clientele in public education system, kaya nakaisip kami ng numero sa school board with the help of Dr. Lim. Having said that, just to update you, we are now on the process of waiting, waiting for our 110,000 tablets for our public school students and 11,000 laptops out of 10,300 teachers, and nagkaroon tayo ng buffer with the teacher so that para hindi na magastusan ng teacher kung sakali magdadagdag tayo ng teacher at wala na rin gastos ang teacher para magkaroon ng tools for teaching. So meron tayong tools for learning in line with blended distant learning principle. Then we have tools for our teacher to educate our students. Then another problem, not only the appliances or the tablet and laptop, is connectivity. And connectivity costs money, to the family, to the teacher, to the students, and it's not cheap. It may seem it's cheap, but nowadays, sa hirap ng buhay ng tao, ultimo mas, pag pinapili mo ang tao, kapag may konti siyang pera, mas pipiliin niyang bumili ng pagkain kaysa mas. More so with connectivity. Now, having said that, your school board, again, through the help of Dr. Lim, appropriated the 275,000 SIM card with 10 gig per student per month with rollover. In rollover, you have to be very specific about it. A rollover is if a student save bandwidth, he or she may use it in the next month, in the coming months, sort of saying. So para wag mawala ng opportunity to be connected yung ating estudyante sa kanilang guro. Now, second, at the same manner, teacher will spend money for connectivity to teach and be connected with their students. So your city government appropriated also bandwidth with Wi-Fi, yung tawag doon, yung maliit na machine. Lagi ko nakakalimutan yung pangalan nun. Anyway, there is a Wi-Fi for our teacher now. So having said that, trying to be ahead of the incoming problem, because it is inevitable. It's a matter of time. So the city prepared everything for our students. It may not suffice, it may not be enough, but there is something. Because nobody is prepared. I think, I can honestly say this, nobody is prepared to adopt the general population to adopt in this new mode of teaching. So after a while, when Dr. Magdalena Lim issued the day of enrollment, which is July 1, naku, Diyos ko, napatunayan na natin na ang hirap ng buhay, naramdaman na. Yung epekto ng ekonomiya, naramdaman na. Paano po? We have achieved in a matter of, I think, less than 2 weeks, 101% enrollment. So we went beyond to the target. Not because we had a mistake. It's just that, in fact, modesty aside, it is in the record, the school board, your school board, appropriated a buffer because it's supposed to be 91,000 at 3:1. So we bought 110,000 for transferee and buffer, but it's not enough after everything's said and done. Now, this is now the latest update. Yesterday, I called an emergency school board meeting, and thankfully, to the school board members are very active. This is, when we say emergency meeting, this is a short notification because there is an again and again urgent incoming immediate future problem, which is, as per record, I think you have seen enough. I think Dr. Lim presented it a while ago that yung initial na 7,900 transferees from private school became more than 20,000. And that is going to be a problem. Because the policy of the city is to absorb. Yakapin ang dapat yakapin sa pandemyang ito. No matter what. Mahirap, hindi siya madali. It may be a noble statement, but we have to do it because wala namang ibang aasahan ang mamamayan kundi tayong mga pamahalaan. Now, having said that, I have good news for you, under existing laws, because acquisition of properties, and you know it for a fact, your teachers, your members of the government, acquisition of properties takes time. It's really hard. It may take time. Like, that's why we had to do it ahead of time before, a few months ago. And so far, we are on track. So, under existing laws, we are allowed to do repeat order. So we need not to go back to from point A to point B again or point C. The city yesterday, your city school board, came up with another realignment to supplement our incoming needs and demands from our community, because marami ng mga magulang ang nahihirapan na hindi mapag-aral ang kanilang anak sa private school, lumipat sa atin sa public school. Yesterday, we have appropriated 173 million pesos to buy new sets of tablet. About, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm right with the numbers, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there is a member of the school board here who are, can refresh my mind, about 24,000 or 26,000 new tablets, 26,000 additional tablets, and about 17,000 SIM card with 10 gig bandwidth. So it was approved. 2 motions were moved yesterday to drop some programs which I promise na isasama ko sa 2021 budget parang nadali lang ba ng 1 year. But we dropped some projects na hindi pa masyadong kailangan sa immediate situation. So 173,000 was approved yesterday. So, what is my point? One, doing it within existing laws will save us time to repurchase. 2, at least with the numbers, our clients will be accommodated. Now, let me put this in right perspective. It may not suffice, but I still continue to believe that teachers, principals, and our DepEd and DCS family headed by Dr. Lim can come up with a better solution in managing whatever resources that we have in front of us. Given a chance, if there is a need, we in the school board will not hesitate to come up again with another solution. But for now, at least I can honestly say on behalf of your school board, your DCS family attended and your city government attended to the incoming immediate problems, which is in a few weeks' time. Now, and there's another good news. Globe won the bidding to provide us bandwidth. Ang good news is, dahil ito'y malalaking kumpanya, matatanggap na natin yung SIM card natin within the week. So we are ahead at least a week of our target. No, 2 weeks ahead of our target with regard to our needs or tools or equipment. Isa na lang ang nantabayanan natin, yung laptop at saka tablet. Now, having said that, I have to be fair with you on looking at the worst scenario, okay? Because this is now delivery of products. Our goal, just to share it to you, that products should arrive a week before August 24. Okay? That's our best goal. But as you can see, this is a pandemic. Productions may halt or may be affected in terms of production numbers. Kasi it's a global issue. And we don't know sa planta sa abroad kung how are they affected. But having said that, if our best goal is 1 week before dumating na sa mga principal yung gamit para may pamahagi na ng mga teachers, makatulong natin ang school to the community and PTA for that matter. The worst case scenario is 1 week after August 24. So yun yung ating parang importante lang na may goal. Kasi goal gives us direction. But goal doesn't mean it's perfect. Goal doesn't mean you will arrive there. but at least there is direction. So I just want you to be part of that information or goal, sharing that information to you. So as of now, yan ang kaganapan, how the City of Manila and DCS family adopted and heeded to the call of the Honorable Secretary of Education and to the President. Okay. Second, today we are under MECQ. We just launched about 400 COVID-19 safety marshal in the community. Okay. So this will help police implement and all other things that can help suppress the exponential growth of community infection. Second, I announced today, because we were given discretion, local government units was given discretion by IATF to approve or not to approve or allowed not to allow tricycle, e-trikes, and pedicab. I just want you to know, maraming nahihirapan ngayon na empleyado. Across the board, government sector, private sector. Maraming mahihirapan na medical frontliners in terms of transportation. I just want you to know that I allowed 19,000 tricycle, e-trikes, tuk-tuk, and all other three-wheeled public transport within the city para lang makapag-augment. Second reason, at least kahit pa paano may 19,000 tayong pamilya na hindi iintindihin dahil magugutom sila. Maraming magugutom. That's why I am not for ECQ or MECQ. I am for GCQ, but having said that, we have to cooperate, we have to act. We may disagree, we may argue, we may debate. At the end of the day, we have to put a dot in every discussion. We have to act and move. And movement in times of battle raises the probability of survival. So that's why we adopted. But so we really have to help me, please, inform the parents of our clients to continue to practice medical protocols or basic protocols in healthcare situation, protecting their lives, own lives. Mask, wash, physical distance. These are basic, and this can be done and be duplicated. So, yun lamang po so far. Oh, ang good news, another good news. Kagabi, the entire 1.9 kilometer of España is fully equipped with Wi-Fi. At 30 MB download and 50 MB upload. So, paswerte kayo kung kayo'y nasa bahaging lugar na yon, kasi pag naubos ang bandwidth ni Kois, may bandwidth naman sa kalsada. Sayang na, how I wish we can build more, but that is a 34 machine.
Praise the Lord.
Salamat sa Diyos. Salamat sa Diyos.
Thank you.
34 machine, the same machine that they use in New York, is now fully implemented in the area. So, kahit pa paano, yung mga dormitoryo o yung community, about 50 to 100 meters radius. So imagine that 1.9 kilometer of fully Wi-Fi. At may ilaw na ang buong Espanya. So yun lang, in-update ko lang kayo. So I have to go. How I wish I can answer some queries, but I think more than anything, you need to discuss matters on the nitty-gritty of how are you going to adapt in your community with regard to our clientele, providing good quality education. And always bear in mind, I'm your product.
Correct po.
I'm a product of public education system. daycare sa Tulungan Center nung araw, in the early 80s. Then Rosario Almario Elementary School and Tondo High School. I'm a full-blooded product of public education system in the modern times. So there is hope for your students. So please continue to hope that someday, somehow, there will be billionaires, there will be scientists, doctors, professionals, and maybe leaders among your students. Continue to believe in that, continue to guide us, continue to educate us, and serve us with good quality education. And I believe in you. Mag-iingat kayong lahat, ha? Please keep safe. Ha? No, huwag na tayo mag-ECQ, huwag na tayo mag-MECQ, maraming magugutom, maniwala po kayo. Mas mahihirapan tayo pag nagutom ang lahat, gutom na tayo, may sakit pa tayo, tiyak na ang resulta niyan, 1 plus 1 equals 2. That is science. Math is a perfect science. And in this situation, if you combine worse health situation and worse economic situation, that is inevitable. So we don't need that. We have to behave. Thank you. Mag-iingat kayo.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Stay safe, Mayor.
Thank you po, Mayor.
Mayor, I love you. Thank you po, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you po, Mayor. Thank you.
Salamat.
Salamat po, Mayor. Thank you po.
After everything said and done, picture. That's first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations.
Maraming salamat po sa ating butihing mayor at ang solid stakeholder at dakilang ama ng Batang Maynila, Honorable Mayor Isko Moreno Domagoso.
Thank you, partner. At this point, we would like to welcome back our very own Schools Division Superintendent for the continuation of the comprehensive plan of the Schools Division of Manila for the Contextualized Learning Continuity Plan. Once again, Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim.
Thank you, Eman, and thank you, Des. I'm still overwhelmed by the speech and the presence of our beloved mayor. To tell you the truth, he is really the one pushing for the additional gadgets. Nung malaman niya na increase ang enrollment, hindi talaga siya tumigil. The following day, right away, agad niyang inattend ang problema. And so we have this now. Yung sinabi niyang 26,000, it was actually 26,950 tablets, additional tablets to the original 110. So ito na ngayon ang iniintay natin. Mauuna lang yung 110,000 na ma-deliver, but the next 26,950 will follow suit. Repeat order lang po. Now, for the internet, it is 10 gig at sinabi nga niya. Yung sinabi ni Mayor na 17,000, it was actually 21,230 additional SIM cards with load of 10 gig a month for every student and teachers. Okay. Ang total amount na na-allocate after adding more gadgets and internet is now 1,234,590,500 from the city government of Manila. And actually, it is because of the mayor of Manila, the proactive and the visionary mayor of Manila. Okay, so, ayan, ready na nga tayo sa learning delivery. I think tayo nga nangunguna, sabi nga ni Mayor, because naisip niya ng internet ang kailangan. So, ano bang available resources for Manila students? So, we have two. Yung learning package and, of course, the tablet. The learning package will contain, of course, the printed modules, the printed worksheets, The notebooks which is also given by the Manila City Government, 8 yan. At saka yung mga textbooks na i-retrieve pa natin. And of course, the parents' guide that will be contained in every package para makikita ng parents and the students on how to go about studying using the self-learning modules. Pero, ito ay 2 weeks lang. Ang sabi nga ni Mayor, the worst scenario is 1 week after August 24 na madidelay. Yun the worst scenario. So, we are prepared. We have prepared a 2-week lesson that will be contained in the learning package. Nonetheless, meron pa tayong backup. We have digitized copies of the modules, the worksheets, and a video of parents' guide, and the video lessons which are made by teachers themselves na sinishare din, na napapaloob din sa tablet, na makikita yon using the internet. And even if the student do not have the internet, pagbukas daw niya ng tablet, automatic na sync in ang mga files sa Google Drive. So that's for our students. Now, what about for our teachers? What are the available instructional resources for Manila teachers? JC, will you go to the next slide, please? Teachers naman natin, there is a slide prior to this, JC, before this one. JC, yung slide bago ito, para malaman natin kung ano bang meron para sa teachers natin.
Yes, ma'am.
A while ago, binanggit ko kung ano bang meron ang mga estudyanteng Manila. Napakaswerte talaga dahil meron tayong gobyerno na nangangalaga sa edukasyon. Both the DepEd and the city government. Now, let me continue. For our teachers, binanggit ni Mayor, laptops, bawat isa mayroon. May buffer tayo. Yung mga nagmumonitor, pwede rin siguro natin bigyan pag meron pa rin natitira after hiring all the required teachers. Meron din silang internet, similar to the students. Yun ay hindi napapaloob sa laptop but in a Wi-Fi, yung binabanggit kanina ni Mayor. But of course, all the printouts na makikita dito sa package, meron din ang teachers. And of course, video lessons that will be shared by all the teachers, ilalagay natin yun sa LRMDS so that the teachers of Manila can avail of the lessons made by the other teachers. And she herself will also share the video lessons that they have prepared to other teachers. Kung makita nyo lang yon, matutuwa kayo. I was so engaged watching them. And if everything else fails, like internet, pwede naman pumunta sa school following health protocols dahil nandoon ang computer lab where there is a strong internet. At kung hindi pa rin, dun nga sa Espanya, sa haba ng Espanya, baka nga pwede pa, as long as it is safe to stay there. Okay, let's move on. How is the online delivery being done? Paano na ba ito mangyari? Meron ng tamang gadget ang mga bata at mga teachers at lahat ng kailangan. So, first of all, syempre, the modules were prepared by our teacher writers muna. Tapos, they were validated by our supervisors in CID, Curriculum Implementation Division. And after that, here comes the printing. Centralized yan ang printing. We have in the division office, the publication. We have Santiago for elementary modules. And we have Abansenia for high school modules. Pero nga lang, hindi lahat yan dahil limitado ang division at school MOE. Most of our modules will be printed using the CEF, which amounts to 40 million additional pa yun. But dahil nga sobrang marami, mahal ang pag-print, kaya 1 week modules lang ang mapre-prepare sa CEF. And then it will be delivered to the schools and the teacher now will prepare the packages. Dito na siya ilalagay. So lahat ng binanggit natin kanina, nandito siya sa packages. And then she is also going to upload in the tablets. Pero nga, may good news din tayo. Yung nanalong mag-bidder sa tablet, kinuha na lahat ng available digitized modules at nilagay na sa tablets. So that those modules that have been prepared later yun na lamang ang i-upload. And how it will be distributed to parents. So may tatlong strategies tayo. We have pick up at school, yung mga parents na malapit sa school, o kaya yung sa ibang syudad. They would rather, of course, hindi natin madadala yun sa ibang syudad other than Manila. So they have to pick it up from school. Home delivery, they have also this option. May nakita kami sa simulation, gumamit ng Grab at Lalamove. So this will be in partnership with PTA, LGU, and the Transport Sector Service. And of course, the barangay dito. Meron tayong identified barangay drop boxes na doon natin pwedeng ilagay ang mga packages. Sa tulong na din ng mga barangay, volunteers at barangay officials. Now, what's the next? The parents will now pick up the learning package at the different pick-up points. Meanwhile, pag may laptops na at tablets na, pwede na ding i-download ng mga estudyante ang digitized modules and worksheets in the tablet. Mauuna siguro ito dahil meron na tayong load na ipamimigay. If I'm not wrong, Wednesday yata darating, bukas darating yung load. So we have again to plan how we are going to distribute this so that minus the tablets yet, paano kaya nagagamitin ng mga estudyante ito. Okay, let's go to the next slide. JC? Alright. So nakarating na ngayon sa bahay, nakarating na sa magulang at sa bata, yung printed modules in the packets or the page and the digitized version in their tablet or in their gadget. So we have what we call as asynchronous learning teaching process. Asynchronous, students study in the module with or without the aid of video lessons, accomplish the activities, answer the worksheet, and upload outputs to teacher's email ad or messenger account. Pwede niyang picturean ang kanyang sinulat doon sa notebook o sa bond paper o sa papel, tapos gamit yung kanyang tablet, tapos i-upload. Tuturuan naman sila kung paano gagawin ito. I-upload sa messenger account ng teacher o kaya sa Google Drive o kaya sa email ad. For younger students, parents use learning guide and supervise students' interaction with the materials. Lalo pa yung mga estudyanteng kinder, grade 1, grade 2. Communication with the teacher can be done through text, I'm sorry, that's a typo error, text, call, messenger, or social network. We have seen this being done in the simulation and it is possible. Pag may nahihirapan na mga magulang or bata, nagte-text sila o kaya nagme-message sa messenger o kaya tumatawag sa teacher para klaruhin kung ano yung mga aspeto na hindi niya masyadong naiintindihan. Now, for synchronous, it is a virtual class or virtual classes that are live online and conducted in real time. Gaya ngayon na ginagawa natin, this is a real time. The teacher and students are together in the same session but on different location, which begins and ends at a fixed time. The teacher may use Messenger Room, Google Classroom, Google Meet, or Zoom. The class can be monitored by the principal and supervisor. So nakakita ko ng simulation both in Messenger Room and in Google Classroom. May mga principal at supervisor pero hindi sila umiimik, they just observe. And they create another room for the post-evaluation. Doon na sila nagbibigay ng technical assistance sa teacher at nag-thresh out ng mga glitches or difficulty. So let's move on to the next. So basically, that's how the process is going to happen in an online learning. Now, let us check the teacher readiness. Paano sasabihin natin, kaya ng new normal ng teachers natin? So we have conducted, both the DO and the schools have conducted different trainings. And these are Messenger Classroom, completed na to, lahat ng teachers. Google Education, the basic training, which is completed, care of na nila JC, ng ating ICT officer, at saka ng mga ICT coordinators ng school. Google Education, Proficiency Building, which is still ongoing. We have still trainings that will be conducted in the future, very near future. and these are educational technology in the new normal, developing digital learning materials using software, and learning delivery modality. Okay, next slide. We'll also conduct other trainings like education resilience and learning continuity to be sponsored by UP College of Education. Meron ding nag-sponsor Unilab Philippines AKAP Guro, which would include COVID-19 response and mental and psychological health for teachers. We are still encouraging sponsors for trainings that will help our teachers become ready to embrace the new normal. And for students or learners' readiness, let's move on to the next slide. We are going to conduct orientation on distance learning modality. This will happen yet in the very near future using Facebook application. The sponsor is AHA Foundation. Sila din yung nag-training sa teachers natin about messenger classroom. And our schools, even ongoing now, are conducting their own orientation. Kung sino lang yung muna ang kanilang ma-reach out. But in the coming weeks, online, we are going to reach out as far as all the students as possible. We have seen online simulation of online lessons to gauge also the students and parents' readiness. At based on the simulation, we have seen that they are ready. We have seen also problems, and we are doing intervention now so that in the next simulation, we are going to find out if these interventions are really doable and will become successful. So we will be having, pagka talagang na-deliver na yung gadgets, a week before the opening of class, which is August 24, we are going to have a simulation for all students online, August 20 to 21. Kung paano talaga hawakan yung tablets, kung paano mag-download, paano mag-interact sa Google Classroom, Messenger Classroom, paano mag-self-paced learning lamang walang teacher na nandyan. So, yun ay gagawin sa August 2021. O awa ng Diyos, ma-deliver on time ang gadgets. So, next slide, please. So, we have gathered or generated data from the learners' enrollment survey form. We have 86% for elementary turned out or respondents, 85 for junior high school, 81 for senior high school, for a total of 85% in the whole division. Maybe the missing respondents are those that are late enrollees. Hindi pa namin nare-retrieve ang ESF nila. And maybe these are the students who do not have the internet to upload their LESF. And they are really using the physical LESF that we have yet to retrieve from the different drop boxes. So nakita namin na mga estudyante pala na may TV, na may cable, ay ito yung total nakikita natin. Kita nyo naman natin yung total enrollment. And you can see how many percent only is 17,358 of the total 185,000 students in elementary. So, hindi pala lahat ay may TV sa bahay na may cable. Pero marami, 36,148, walang cable. So, yung ating TV lessons na ibibigay ng central office at ng NCR, etong mga bata lamang ang pwedeng maka-avail because they have the cable. So, eto ngayon ang figure. And surprisingly, the survey says that even smaller number of students own a radio. Mas marami pa ang merong cable. So, I think radio is not really a good option for a learning modality. Survey on gadgets. Ang may smartphones, surprisingly, madami. 17,117. Merong 11,013 na tablets. 11,013 na bata na may tablets. May 6,416 na desktop at may 10,543 na laptop. Kung ito-total natin ito, yung problema natin na maraming siblings in a household ay mas tutugunan siguro ng mga batang meron sa bahay. And these are the figures now for junior high school and for senior high school, this one. At ito yung total. Still very small percentage compared to 294,000 of students. 12,000 lamang ang may smartphone, 15,000 lamang ang may tablet, 11,000 lang ang may desktop, at 18,000 lamang ang may laptop. So there is really an inequitable distribution of resources at home prior to the provision of the tools and equipment by our local government, by our city government, by Mayor Iskop Moreno. So let us go to the next slide now. We have identified SPED according to those with gadget and those without gadget. So the total is 23,000 ang may gadget, 23,200. But still, there are lots of them without gadgets, 6,180. And there is a problem for our SPED. Hindi sila pwedeng printed lang. Talagang kailangan nila ng gadget. Like those with hearing impaired. Kailangan nilang may nagde-demo over a video. So a gadget is a must for our SPED students. And what if our SPED students are living in a household with 4 siblings? Paano siya magkakaroon ng malaking tsansa para makahawak ng gadget na siya talaga yung may kailangan. So we really have a problem with this. So let's move on to the next slide. So dito na tayo ngayon. Knowing all the scenarios, we now come to the third and the last part, the issues and resource gaps. That's why we are here together. We are bringing you here together, our stakeholders for DepEd Manila students, for DepEd Public School students of Manila. So we have gaps in instruction, difficulty in teaching and learning reading or writing through text-based virtual classroom. But this could be addressed in tablets. Meron na nga tayo. Pero may kakulangan pa rin. Kahit na gano'n na lang ang effort ng gobyerno, ng ating city government, we still have to strategize on how to address these gaps. Difficulty in teaching children with special needs using modular online instruction. Just like what I pointed out. Next slide, please, JC. Assessment results may not yield the authentic performance output of learners in a home-based learning environment, which may lead to inaccurate assessment of learning outcomes. Siyempre, nasa bahay siya. Hindi yung naiintindihan ba niya talaga ang lesson niya on her own? O baka may tulong ang guardian, ang parents? O baka habang may tanong, tumitingin pa sa references, baka walang retention. But this can be assessed very well if we have strong internet and enough encounter with our teachers. Like for example, in a short quiz, time limit of 15 minutes, so siguro magkakaroon tayo ng authentic assessment kasi may time limit yon. Adjustment of principals and supervisors to the new normal of monitoring and supervision of classes, as well as provision of technical assistance. Ngayon lang ito mangyayari. Normally, we have a face-to-face technical assistance, but this is a challenge that we are really going to face head-on. Next slide. On teachers, adjustments to new normal education in terms of readiness in distance learning delivery and using computers, gadgets, and education apps. Next is building teacher-parent partnership through distance communication. Paano na lang yung ating PTA na pinatatawag ang parents pag may problema ang bata. But still, we are going to rely so much on technology in this case. And then the online classroom discipline. Sa classroom, harap-harap ang lahat. Makikita kung may pasaway, makikita kung may nag-aaway. Maganda ngayon at hiwa-hiwalay, but the discipline at home cannot really be measured because it is very far from the teacher herself. So number 4, teachers' effectiveness in teaching learning process in the absence of face-to-face interaction with the students. Paano sukatin ang effectiveness ni teachers? May ginagawa pa ngayon ang DepEd Central ng policy para paano talaga masukat ngayon ang pagiging epektibo ng guro natin sa bagong paraan ng pagtuturo niya. So, hindi na ganun ang panukat kagaya ng una. Iba na ngayon ang panukat. And we are going to wait for the policy guidelines of our central office superiors. Okay, next slide. Still on our teachers, challenges as online guidance teacher of their learners. Mahirap pong gawin, but we have to do it. Kailangan natin, may mga estudyante tayo talagang may problema. Harap na nga natin, nasa school na sila, kita na may problema. Paano na ngayon na nandun sila sa mga bahay na hindi nila nakikita? So that will lead us to number 6. Evaluating and monitoring learners' psychosocial behavior while they are confined in their homes, such that early warning signs of domestic abuse and other problems cannot be perceived. Sa school lang ang kanilang escape. Sa teacher lang sila nagsasabi. Kahit hindi sila magsabi, nakikita ng teachers yun. Paano ngayon na nasa bahay sila? They are at the mercy of people in the household that are abusing them. So paano kaya natin yun makikita? We're thinking of ways, but we have yet to experiment on it, on some simulation, and in actual implementation. Number 7, absence of policy adjustment on assessing teachers' performance in the new teaching landscape, gaya ng sabi kanina. And of course, this is very important, the prevailing fear of the teachers on COVID-19. Next slide, please. On learners. 1 tablet is allocated per household. Sharing of gadget among more than 2 siblings might affect learning time management. So, okay lang doon sa walang kapatid. Meron tayong 136,950 tablets. Hopefully, kasya siya sa lahat ng households ng bawat pamilya. Pag dalawa ang siblings, kaya pa. Meron tayong 18,441 households. Pag tatlo, medyo challenging na. Meron tayong 7,903 households na ganyan. And meron pang 4, 3,512 households. At ngayon, meron 5. Imposible na talagang kumasya ang isang tablet. Pag wala pang tablet ang household ng pamilya. We have 2,634 households in all. And surprisingly, there are 6 or more. May na-record pa ang ating SGOD na 11 11 learners inside one household. Hindi sila magkakapatid, hindi sila magkakamag-anak, but they still live in one household. At marami sila, 4,391 of them. So how are we going to address this? Ito na yung mga tanong. Paano yung equitable learning delivery? So, on learners pa rin, adjustment to the new normal education, particularly on the new gadgets, virtual classroom discipline, and lack of physical and social interaction among classmates. So yung iba hindi pa nakahawak, so kailangan may practice yun. Non-reader learners with non-reader guardians and parents, issue din ito. Parents' commitment in guiding learners in the journey of learning. Okay, next slide. We have also learners with diverse home situation. Those with guardians and parents who are working. So, paano sila mag-guide? Home study area, conduciveness. Merong andun lahat ang pamilya, saan pa sila mag-aaral? Extended family in slum area, child abuse and related problems. And number 6, absence of learning support system at home. Ito yung nakalap namin sa survey. There are 2,456 or 2%, maliit lang, pero marami pa rin ito. Ang walang guardian or parent na pwedeng tumulong sa kanyang bahay. Sa high school, 4% or 1,963. At sa senior high school, 567 na bata, walang gagabay or 9% of them. Okay, next slide. Cyberbullying is also a problem. And then of course, health and nutrition. Ang meron na lang tayo ngayon ay milk feeding. Wala na tayong school feeding because of pandemic. So while we are addressing health and nutrition in the past, maybe not perfectly, mas lalo na siguro tayo ngayong mamumroblema, health and nutrition ng bata. Okay, next slide. On governance. Because of the increase in enrollment, eto na ngayon ang problem namin. Additional gadgets, and of course the reproduction of printed modules. Ang allocated budget lang ng SEF at ng Division MOE at School MOE ay para doon lamang sa na-project naming enrollment na 275,000 gaya nung nakaraan. Lumobo tayo ng 20,000. Yun ang problema. Where are we going to get the funding for this increased enrollment? Unstable internet signal or absence of connectivity in the area. Hopefully, Globe na nanalo, maglalagay daw sila ng booster. That's why we have asked for addresses only para dun sa maraming nakatira sa area, maglalagay ng booster. But of course, we are still getting ready for intermittent signal, yung pabago-bago ang signal. Meron kaming mga fallback dyan, still on printed modules and maybe OTG or USB. Adjustments of SEO to the new normal of monitoring school performance and provision of technical assistance. Let's move on. Absence of policy adjustment and new parameters in the assessment of school effectiveness, gaya ng teachers, paano natin masukat kung effective ang eskwelahan, nag-perform ba siya sa ngayong normal. Iba na ang panukat ngayon. Sorting of enrollment by households as basis of tablet distribution. Napatunayan ng SGOB that they could sort it out using the information from the LESF. But in real life, we need validation and maybe we need help from PTA and from our partners in barangay. Strategic distribution of learning gadgets and learning packets to household. Challenge team ito. Kailangan po din namin ng tulong ninyo. Paano kaya natin ito matidistribute ng maayos? Monitoring the use of gadget and its efficacy as tool of learning. Paano natin maiiwasan na ang gadget ay safe pa rin na nasa bata hanggang sa matapos ang gamit niya sa buong taon. Baka nahulog, baka na isang laha, sabog naman sana, o baka kung saan na napunta. So we have to monitor so that we can still assure ourselves and themselves that they have still the tools. So in compliance with the minimum health standards, this is for the preparation of the blended learning modality. You are looking forward into 2021 na mag-blended na, may konting permission na sa IATF na baka pwede nang pumasok, but we are not still confident on that. Hanggat wala pang vaccine, eto yun, ang resources to address the need to renovate, reinvent, and redesign our classrooms to comply with 1:20 classroom ratio. Lack of resources to maintain and sustain complete sanitation of schools and workplaces. And 3, lack of health and safety, like testing, alcohol, soap, PPEs, kits, supplies for our teachers, learners, and non-teaching personnel. I think that's the last slide for my presentation. Let's move on. Yeah, that's my final slide. So, of course, learning opportunities have been made available already. We have done our best, and we're still going to give our best to address the shortages so that learning shall continue in the time of COVID-19. Sulong Kalidad, salamat sa inyong lahat. God bless us all. Keep safe, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Magdalena Lim, for that very clear and comprehensive presentation about this contextualized learning continuity plan. Blended learning is an approach to education that combines online educational materials and opportunities for interaction online with traditional, place-based classroom methods. To get to know more of how these blended learning modalities will work, let's watch the simulation of blended learning modalities in times of crisis prepared by Florentino Torres High School.
Sa panahon ng pandemya, maraming mamamayan ang masyadong naapektuhan, lalo na ang mga nawalan ng trabaho, mga nagkasakit at mga nagpakasakit at nagpuwis ng buhay. Tunay ngang ang panahong ito ay punong-puno ng mga hamon, suliranin, pag-aalinlangan at mga agam-agam. Ang mga magulang ay patuloy na nagtatanong sa kanilang sarili kung paano na ang kinabukasan ng kanilang anak. May tugon ng ating kalihim ng edukasyon dito na si Secretary Briones.
The children cannot wait. Education cannot wait. We have been doing distance learning, blended learning for decades and decades. blended kung anong sitwasyon halimbawa sa isang eskwelahan, kung ano ang pangangailangan, anong estado ng mga bata, mag-a-adjust ang teacher, mag-a-adjust ang school, depende sa availability ng communication.
Handa ka na ba? Excited ka na ba? Kinakabahan ka ba sa ating new normal na pag-aaral? Huwag kang matakot, huwag kang kabahan dahil nandito ang kagawaran ng edukasyon, dibisyon ng Maynila at ang ama ng punong lungsod ng Maynila na si Kagalang-galang Isko Moreno para tayo ay tulungan sa ating pag-aaral. Upang maipatupad ng mga paaralan ang naturang Learning Continuity Plan ng kagawaran sa Maynila, nagkaroon ng pagpupulong ang Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim at ang mga punong guro kasama ang mga hepe at supervisor ng SDO Manila. Napagkaisahan nila na habang hindi pa pwede ang face-to-face ang guro at bata, modular at online distance learning muna ang ipatutupad sa mga paaralan. Tinalakay din ang paggawa ng database para sa tablet distribution by barangay alinsunod sa kautusan ng Pamahalaang Maynila at ang pagbabahagi ng mga module para sa first quarter. Ang mga mahahalagang impormasyong tinalakay sa pagpupulong ay mabilisang ipinahayag sa mga kaguruan ng Florentino Torres High School ng punong guro na si Ginang Maria Pura S. Calatag sa pamamagitan ng video conference o Google Meet gamit ang gadget. Habang nagaganap ang mga pagpupulong, sunod-sunod naman ang mga webinar at mga write-shop ng mga guro at mga puno ng kagawaran sa iba't ibang asignatura sa pangunguna ng kanilang mga supervisor upang makabuo ng mga module bilang paghahanda sa first quarter ng panuruang taon 2020-2021. Ang mga binuong module ng mga guro at head teachers ay dumaan sa masusing pagtataya, pagsusuri at pagwawasto ng mga validators ng Curriculum Implementation Division, SDO Manila, sa pamumuno ni Ginang Aida H. Rondilla. Matapos ang validation ng komite, ang mga module ay dumaan sa paglilimbag at pagsasaayos ayon sa iba't ibang baitang at asignatura. Kasabay ng paghahanda ng mga module ay sunod-sunod na pag-aaral ng mga guro sa makabagong pagtuturo na tinatawag nating webinar gamit ang iba't ibang gadget tulad ng cellphone, laptop, desktop at tablet. Bago ipamahagi ang mga module sa mga bata, nagkaroon muna ng virtual orientation meeting ang mga magulang at mga mag-aaral sa pamumuno ng punong guro ng paaralan tungkol sa mga bagong pamamaraan ng pagtuturo at pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral. Binanggit din dito ng punong guro kung paano kukunin at ibabalik ang mga module at ang paggamit ng gadget na ipagkakaloob ng Mayor ng Maynila. Pagkatapos pulungin ng punong guro ang mga magulang at estudyante, sunod niyang pinulong ang mga opisyales ng barangay sa pamamagitan rin ng Google Meet at ito ay tinawag na Ugnayang Barangay at Paaralan sa Florentino Torres High School na kung saan tinalakay ng punong guro ang kahalagahan ng pakikipagtulungan ng barangay sa pag-aaral ng mga kabataan. Kaya dito rin napag-usapan ang Memorandum of Understanding o MOU sa pagitan ng Torres High School at ng mga barangay na sumasakop na nagsasaad ng mga responsibilidad ng barangay at paaralan sa pagtanggap at pagbalik ng mga module. Kaya matapos ang ugnayang pagpupulong, dinala ng staff ng paaralan ang kahon sa Barangay 170 na paglalagyan ng mga module at pinapirma ng MOU ang barangay chairman. Nang handa na ang mga module para sa distribution sa iba't ibang paaralan, nagpalabas ng memorandum ang SDO Manila ng schedule kung kailan ang pick-up ng mga module hanggang ito ay makarating sa mga paaralan. Paghatid ng mga module sa paaralan, nakahanda ang mga gurong nagkusang loob na tumulong sa pagkasaayos ng mga ito. Masusing inayos ang mga learning packages na naaayon sa bawat grade level at section. Matapos maayos at nagkaroon ng paghahanda sa takdang araw ng pagbabahagi sa bawat grade level. Magkakaroon ng pagpo-post ng anunsyo sa FB page at sa tapat o gate ng paaralan para sa schedule ng pamamahagi ng mga learning packages. Oras na ng pamamahagi ng mga modules o learning packages. Ang mga magulang na kukuha ng mga module ay kinakailangang sumunod sa mga health protocols gaya ng pagsuot ng face mask, at social distancing. Ang guro o tagapayo ng mga mag-aaral ang siyang katuwang sa pamamahagi ng learning packages kung siya ay malapit sa paaralan. Sa unang buwan ng first quarter, habang hinihintay ang pamamahagi ng tablet, ang mga magulang ang siyang magsisilbing guro at gagabay sa anak na matutuhan ng nilalaman ng module. Wow! Teacher nanay at teacher tatay. Subalit may mga bata rin naman na gustong matuto mag-isa na kahit walang gabay ng mga magulang ay kayang-kayang intindihin at sumagot sa mga hinihiling sa module. Ang mga sinagot ng module ay dadalhin ng mga magulang sa Dropbox ng paaralan sa barangay hall at ito ay kukunin ng staff ng paaralan sa barangay. Ang mga guro ang nag-aayos ng mga ibinalik na module at sinagutan ng mga bata sa mga Dropbox by section at by subject. Ang mga bata ay may option din namang sumagot gamit ang online platform kung siya ay may gadget sa tahanan tulad ng cellphone, laptop o tablet at maalam gumamit ng iba't ibang application nito. Maaari niyang i-upload sa Google ang kanyang kasagutan sa module sa kanyang guro at sa patnubay ng magulang o tagapangalaga. Sa pagsapit ng panahon na ang lahat ng mga batang Maynilang nag-aaral ay mabibigyan na ni Mayor Isko ng gadget o tablet, ganito ang matutunghayan natin sa klase. Panoorin natin ang klase ni Sir Relly Tapalgo sa Grade 8 PE.
Flexibility. Flexibility is an important component of physical fitness and has many positive effects on the body. For instance, it improves mobility, posture, muscle coordination, reduces the risk of injuries and muscle soreness.
Sa online distance learning o tinatawag nating Google Classroom o Messenger Chatroom, maraming application ang maaaring gamitin ng guro at mga bata upang sila ay magkaroon ng ugnayan at interaction na ginagawa rin sa klase kung face-to-face. Ilan sa mga ito ang 1. Checking and monitoring of attendance. 2. Online recitation. 3. Online submission of activity sheets and assignment at marami pang iba. Sa online distance learning, maaari rin ang guro na mag-anyaya ng mga process observers sa kanyang klase gaya ng mga puno ng kagawaran, punong guro, mga supervisor at iba pang kaguro. Alamin natin mismo sa mga bata at kanilang mga magulang kung ano ang naging karanasan at komento at damdamin nila sa ganitong new normal na pagkatuto.
These days, in this online class, I feel like we should not be afraid. Students should be more open and willing to participate in different activities for online class. In the end, we're still millennials. We're used to this. So we should take this as a benefit to improve our learning and to focus more on self-study.
For me, DepEd and the government was able to do good designing the online class and modulars for the students to be able to continue on with their studies. When Alcin told me about the online class that they were going to participate into, I felt at ease because I know Taurus is already doing a good job of performing or letting the students learn in an alternative way to this pandemic. As a parent, let's just all stay positive. The equation is going to be simple. The modulars and the online class, thus our children's participation in our support would be equals a good school year for everyone.
Sa ganitong pamamaraan ng pagkatuto, masasabi natin tuloy ang edukasyon ng ating mga minamahal na mag-aaral. Sulong ito kalidad, DepEd tayo. Para sa bata, para sa bayan.
Okay, maraming salamat, Florentino Torres High School, for that very nice video presentation. At this point, we'll be giving an intermission number. Let's hear a musical presentation, A String of Unity, trained by Mr. R.B. Dale Castro. Let's all welcome the Aurora A. Quezon Elementary School, Rondalia.
Maraming salamat po sa Aurora 8 Second Elementary School, Gonzaga. Sa panahong ating nararanasan ngayon, napakahalaga na mayroon tayong katuwang sa pagpapatuloy ng atikaing pang-edukasyon. Para magbigay ng mensahe on the part of the youth sector, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Director of Manila Youth Welfare Bureau. Please, let's give a big hand for Mr. Alexander Layos.
Sa ating walang kapaguran at tila hindi natutulog na ama ng lungsod ng Maynila, Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso, sa napakamasipag na katuwang sa paglilingkod bayan, Vice Mayor Maria Sheila Ani Lacuna Pangan, at ang masisigasig na kasabi ng konseho ng lungsod sa ating napakamasikap na Schools Division Superintendent ng Maynila, Dr. Maria Magdalena MD, at sa lahat ng mga bumubuo ng kanyang pamunuan, sa mga bayaning guro na alam kong sobrang excited na sa darating na pasukan, sa mga magulang at mga minamahal kong kabataang Manilenyo, isang mapagpalang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Ang ating ginagawang Convergence sa umagang ito ay may temang pagpapanatili ng bayanihan tungo sa kalidad na edukasyon para sa kabataan. Matapos kong mabasa ang imbitasyon, ay parang nag-hashtag throwback sa akin ang aking mga karanasan noong habang ako rin isang mag-aaral pa lamang. Hayaan po ninyong ibahagi ko sa inyo ang kaunting alaala na may munting aral na maihahatid lalo na sa ating mga kabataang natin. Una, hindi pa ito ganon katagalan dahil noong Biyernes, nang hapon ay may dumating na kartero sa aming bahay. Hinahanap niya ang aking mga magulang. Habang binabasa ng aking ina ang kanyang sulat, ay tila nagtataka ako bakit bumabagsak ang luha sa kanyang mga mata. Napag-alaman ko na ang sulat palang iyon ay sulat mula sa PNM College of Law at binabati ang aking mga magulang sa kanilang pagpupunyaging pagsisikap na maitaguyod ang aking 4 na taong pag-aaral ng abugasya. Mga kabataang Manlenyo, nais kong ibahagi sa inyo na hindi lamang preparasyon para sa buhay ang edukasyon. Bagamat dahil ang katotohanan nito'y ang edukasyon mismo ay ang ating buhay. Nasisiguro ko po na sasang-ayon sa akin ang mga guro, ang mga magulang, na ang diploma bagamat isang papel ay ang pinakamagarbong regalo na maibibigay ng anak sa kanyang ina at ama. Kolehiyo, November 11, 2015, sariwa pa sa aking alaala ang trahedya kung saan ako po ay nasagasaan ng isang 10-wheeler na truck. Hit and run po iyon na talagang sinubok po ng Panginoon, na sinubok po ako ng Panginoon. Hindi lamang nabaon, kundi talagang naglubog sa utang ang aking mga magulang upang po ako ay maipagamot. Nais ko lamang pong ipabatid sa inyo na bawat isa ay may dagok na kinakaharap. Gaya na lamang ng ating dinaranas na pandemya sa kasalukuyan dulot ng COVID-19. Sa kabila ng mapaghamong buhay at sitwasyon, ay huwag nating kalimutan na may makakasangga pa tayong malalapitan. Dasal lang at hindi niya tayo pababayaan. High school. Gaya ng nakararami, ay taas noo ko pong ipinagmamalaki na ako ay produkto ng pampublikong paaralan ng Maynila mula elementarya sa General Vicente Lim Elementary School, sa high school sa Antonio J. Villegas Vocational High School at maging sa kolehiyo sa pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila. Bilang student leader ay binuo ko po ang partidong Bayanihan for We na sumisimbolo sa we belong, we follow, we lead, and we serve. We belong dahil tayong mga kabataang Maynila ay kabilang at bahagi ng pamahalaang lungsod. We follow dahil bilang mga mamamayan ay may tungkulin tayong sumunod sa mga alituntunin, batas, ordinansa at resolusyon. We lead dahil mga kabataan ay darating din ang ating pagkakataon na pamumunuan natin ang ating mga kababayan. Kaya naman nariyan ang we serve upang tayo maglingkod ng buong puso at magbalik ng kabutihan sa ating mga kapwa-batang Maynila. Elementarya. Pumapasok ng walang baon at minsan ay walang laman ng tiyan. Umaasang libreng bag at gamit pang eskwela ng pamahalaan at inabot pa ang programang libreng bigas sa mga mag-aaral. Sa murang edad ay naranasan ng kahirapan sa buhay. Siguro advantage ko po ang nasanay sa wala, kaya ang bigay na bag ay pinuno ko ng pangarap. Sabi nga nila, libre daw ang mangarap. Pero kung hindi tayo kilos upang isakatuparan ang libre, ay tilang habang buhay tayong aasa sa libre. Dahil usapang libre, mapalad ang mga kabataang mag-aaral ng Maynila dahil may Isko Moreno na batid ang kahalagahan ng edukasyon. Sa kanyang pangunguna ay inaprubahan ng local school board ang pangangailangan ng kaguruan at estudyante sa darating na pasukan. Sa higit 1 bilyong pondo, kukunin ng libreng tablet at wifi sa mga mag-aaral at tablet at laptop naman sa mga guro. Mga kabataan, maaaring simula ay manibago tayo sa online classes. Ngunit laging pakakatandaan, ang edukasyon ang ating buhay. Mahal ng bawat isa ang kanilang buhay, kaya batid ko na kahit mahirap man ang sitwasyon, dahil nakakami si teacher, nakakami si classmate, o maging si crush, ay hindi susukuan ng kabataang Manilenyo ang mapagbuti ang sarili sa pamamagitan ng karunungan. Mga guro, batid po namin na ang iilan sa atin ay hindi ganon kadalubhasa sa makabagong teknolohiya sa makabagong henerasyon. Ngunit kami po ay nakasiguro na mahirap man ang ating kaharapin sa darating na pagtitimula ng eskwela ay hindi niyo po susukuan ang mga minamahal nating kabataan na nangangailangan ng pagpapantay ng karunungan. Kung mahal niyo ang Maynila, 5 beses kong mahal ang Maynila. Ito ang mga katagaan ni Yorme na pumukaw sa espiritu ng pagbabayanihan ng mga namumuno sa iba't ibang departamento ng lungsod. May hahalin tulad po natin ang kawani ng lungsod sa mga paa ng alupihan at si Yorme ang ulo nito. Na habang may pagbabayanihan ng mga paa nito mula sa pagkumpas ng ulo, ay siguradong kahit hindi kabilisan, ay tiyak makakarating sa patutunguhan. Ang bagong Maynila na may malasakit sa ating mga batang Maynila. Marami ng pasakit na idinulot ang pandemya sa buhay ng bawat isa. Dahil dyan, meron sana akong isang kahilingan sana po ay pagbigyan ng mga kabataan. Please po, please lang, huwag sana natin hayaang maapektuhan ng COVID-19 ang ating pag-aaral. Inuulit ko po mga kabataan, huwag po sana natin hayaang maapektuhan ng COVID-19 ang ating pag-aaral. Ito na po ang bagong Maynila. At mga kabataan, hindi man sabay-sabay ang araw at oras ng ating kapanganakan, ngunit sa umagang ito ay sabay-sabay natin isilang ang makabagong kabataang Manilenyo. Muli, ang edukasyon ay buhay. Maraming salamat po. Laging pakakatandaan na sa Maynila, laging una ang Diyos.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Alexander Layos, for that wise and inspiring message. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but your echoes are truly endless. Thank you po. To see how blended learning will actually proceed when classes formally open in the upcoming school year, let's watch the short video prepared by the first school in SDO Manila to qualify to the Brigada Plus level of Brigada Eskwela, Pedro Guevara Elementary School.
Sa adhikaing madugtungan ang kwento ng buhay ng bawat batang mag-aaral ng paaralang Pedro Guevara, gumawa ang paaralan ng hakbang upang maipagpatuloy ang edukasyon sa ligtas na paraan. May agam-agam man sa panahon ng pandemya, hindi bumitaw ang paaralan sa kanyang mandatong magbigay ng kalidad na edukasyon sa bawat batang Pilipino. Bagkus, nagsilbi itong hamon sa paaralan para lalong pagbutihin ang pagbibigay ng serbisyo upang magsilbing kaagapay sa paghubog ng kanilang potensyal sa layong sila ay magiging makabuluhang mamamayan ng bansa. Ang distance learning na dinisenyo ng paaralan ay nahahati sa dalawa. Ang una ay modular, kung saan gagamitin ng mga mag-aaral ang mga module na ginawa ng mga guro at dalubguro batay sa MELC o Most Essential Learning Competencies na dumaan sa mabusising proseso bago na ilimbag ng paaralang lungsod ng Maynila. Ang mga guro naman ay gumawa din ng sariling pagsasanay sa asignaturang tinuturo nila ayon sa MELC na susuporta sa mga module na manggagaling sa SDO Manila. Ang pangalawa naman ay online kung saan ang mga mag-aaral ay tuturuan ng kanilang guro sa pamamagitan ng FB Messenger Room. Kapag synchronous, maaaring gamitin ng mag-aaral ang hard copy ng module na naipamahagi sa kanila o soft copy ng module na i-upload sa gagawing FB group ng klase. Kapag asynchronous naman, ay maaaring sagutan ng mga mag-aaral ang iiwanang pagsasanay ng guro sa kanilang group chat. Dahil sa programang Pamasahe Mo, Sagot Ko ng paaralan at mga barangay na nasasakupan nito kung saan hinahatid at sinusundo ang mga LARDO o learners at risk of dropping out gamit ang mga sasakyan ng barangay, madaling napakiusapan ang mga barangay na gamitin ang mga sasakyang ito upang makuha ang module sa G. Santiago Elementary School, kung saan nilipad ang module ng elementarya ng buong paaralang lungsod ng Maynila. Nakipag-ugnayan ang punong guro sa mga opisyales ng GPTA para sa gawain ito. Sa tulong ng GPTA officers ay nakarating ang mga nalimbag na modules sa paaralan. Ito ay pinamahagi sa bawat advisor. Isisilid ang mga module na ito sa mga plastic envelope na nauna ng lagyan ng guro ng pangalan ng kanyang mga mag-aaral, kasama ang notebooks na bigay ng pamahalaang lungsod ng Maynila. Pagkatapos maisilid ay pagsasama-samahin naman ng guro ang mga learning packets ng mga batang nakatira sa iisang barangay. Ito ay ihahatid ng GPTA officers sa mga barangay na naka-assign sa kanila gamit ang e-bike, ang bagong bersyon ng paaralan sa programang Padyak Mo, Kinabukasan Ko. Ang guro ay magte-text sa mga magulang kung kailan nila pwedeng kunin ang module ng mga anak nila sa barangay. Ang guro ay bumuo ng messenger group chat para sa magulang. Nakipag-ugnayan muna siya sa mga magulang gamit ang messenger create a room. Kinausap niya ang mga magulang para ipabatid sa mga ito kung ano-ano ang kailangan nilang gawin para matulungan ang mga anak, kung paano ang paggamit ng module at magiging takbo ng klase. Ang iba na hindi nakasali ay pinagtiyagaan niyang abutin sa pamamagitan ng mensahe sa SMS. Ganito din ang ginawa ni Ginang Andrea Batang sa mga bata. Isang araw bago ang klase ay kinausap din ni Ginang Batang ang kanyang mga mag-aaral. Hinati niya ito sa dalawang grupo dahil sa 25 na lang ito ang maaaring makapasok sa Messenger Create a Room. Binigay sa mga bata ang kanilang schedule at iilang paalala sa paggamit ng Messenger Room. Alam na rin ng mga bata na sila ay magkakaroon ng synchronous at asynchronous na sesyon ng kanilang klase. Kapag asynchronous naman ang sesyon, binigyan sila ng schedule ng guro para makapagtanong sa pamamagitan ng SMS at messenger chat. Bumuo din siya ng FB Learning Group para sa kanyang klase, kung saan maaari siyang mag-upload ng files katulad ng soft copy ng module at supplementary worksheets kahit kasama na ito sa pinamigay sa mga bata. Ito ay upang tiyakin na lahat ng bata ay magkakaroon ng kopya, lalo na ang mga batang hindi nakatira sa Maynila o di kaya ay na-lockdown sa ibang lugar pero pinili pa ring magpatala sa paaralang Pedro Guevara.
Hello, good morning. Have you received the modules? Caption please. Good. It's nice to know that you have your modules with you. So let's start.
Naging maayos naman ang unang araw ng klase. Naging magiliw ang mga mag-aaral na tila ba sabik na sabik makapiling muli ang isa't isa at makapag-aral muli. Naging aktibo ang karamihan maliban sa 3 bata na medyo nahirapang pumasok sa messenger room dahil sa problema sa signal. Pero dahil may module sila, sa ginawang messenger group chat sila nagtanong kay Ginang Batang kung ano ang gagawin nila. May mga batang kayang sagutan ang mga pagsasanay ng module mag-isa nang hindi na nanghihingi ng tulong sa magulang. Mayroon din kailangang gabayan ng magulang. Sa mga batang walang pwedeng gumabay dahil nagtatrabaho ang magulang, bukas ang messenger at SMS ng guro sa itinakdang oras para sila ay makapagtanong. Pumasok din sa messenger room si Ginang Simonet Castrense, Master Teacher 2, Dr. Philip Baldera, PSDS, at ang punong guro na si Ginang Edita F. Lopez upang obserbahan ang bagong proseso ng pagtuturo at pagkatuto. Positibo naman ang naging resulta ng kanilang obserbasyon. Bagamat nahati sa dalawang grupo ang mga mag-aaral, 20 sa bawat grupo, sa kadahilan ng 25 lamang ang maximum capacity ng messenger room. Nagawa ng guro ng paraan na habang naghihintay ang pangalawang grupo ay may ginagawa na sila. Nasasagutan na nila ang pre-test at nabasa na nila ang kwentong tatalakayin. Sa araw ng Biyernes ay nakahanda ng muli ang mga opisyales ng GPTA para magdalang muli ng module na inayos ng mga guro para sa susunod na linggo sa barangay. Sa araw din ito nilang kokolektahin ang mga naisauling module sa barangay. Dadalhin muli sa paaralan para maiwasto ng mga guro. Marami sa mga mag-aaral ang mas pinili na ipasa ang mga natapos na pagsasanay online. Kahit alam nila na pwedeng ipasa ng kanilang mga magulang sa barangay sa araw ng Biyernes. Mas ginusto nilang kunan ito ng larawan at ipasa sa personal na messenger ng guro upang makaiwas na sa paglabas ng bahay at makasalamuha ng maraming tao. Pagkatapos maiwasto ni Ginang Batang ang mga pagsasanay at pagtataya sa module, ito ang kinalabasan. Base sa resulta ng English 6, Week 1, pre- at post-test, nagkaroon ng pagtaas ng bahagdan ng MPS mula 87% to 96% MPS ng mga mag-aaral. Ito ay nagpapatunay na ang FB Messenger Learning Group Chat at FB Messenger Room ay isang mabisang platform para sa distance learning. Hindi man naging madali kay Ginang Batang ang lahat sa kadahilan ng hindi niya gamay ang teknolohiya, hindi siya nag-atubiling subukan ito. Sa huli, ang alab ng damdamin ng isang guro upang gampanan ang sinumpaang tungkulin ay sapat na para madugtungang muli ang mga pangarap na naputol dahil sa pandemya. Higit kailanman, ngayon mas kailangan ang pakikipagtulungan at pakikiisa ng bawat stakeholder ng paaralan. Hindi makapaghihintay ang edukasyon ng bawat batang Guevaran, ng bawat batang Manileño, ng bawat batang Pilipino. Kailangang itaguyod ito ng pamayanang kanilang kinabibilangan. Ang edukasyon sa gitna ng pandemya ay hindi imposible. May paraan. Kailangan lamang na maging magkaagapay ang bawat isa para maisulong ang dekalidad na edukasyon para sa batang Pilipino. Kaya natin ang hamon na ito, tulong-tulong, sama-sama, panatilihin ang bayanihan tungo sa dekalidad na edukasyon para sa kabataan.
Thank you very much, Pedro Guevara Elementary School, for the simulation program on blended learning. Sa pagpapatuloy, isa sa mga katuwang natin sa SDO Manila sa iba't iba nating programa ay mula sa mga private sectors To do the honors of giving response message of commitment on behalf of the private sectors, our partners, let's give the floor to the Assistant Vice President, Corporate Marketing, Rebisco Group of Food Corporation. Please welcome Ms. Agnes C. Hernia.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Rebisco would like to thank the City of Manila, the Department of Education Manila for being a partner in bringing families together through education. In these uncertain times, we appreciate the willingness of the team to foster an environment of learning despite being away from school. With the commencement of Pagpapanatili ng Bayanihan Tungo sa Kalidad na Edukasyon para sa Kabataan, we hope to nurture the minds of our children whom the future of the country will be entrusted to. Kami po sa Rebisco, ang isa sa aming mga core values is to rise up to the challenges of giving more value to our consumers and the communities. Kaisa niyo po kami sa pananawagan ng pagtutulungan para maisabuhay natin ang quality education sa bansa. Muli po ay nagpapasalamat kami for sharing this honor to us. May this project be highly successful and may it embody the Filipino Bayanihan spirit in the coming school year. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Agnes C. Hernia, Assistant Vice President, Corporate Marketing, Rebisco Group of Food Companies. At this point, to lead our partners and stakeholders for the Pledge of Commitment, may I call on the Director of AHA Learning Center, Mr. Jayton Zulweta.
Hello, magandang umaga po. The Pledge of Commitment. We, the education stakeholders from various sectors, support the initiatives of the Department of Education school divisions. Ulitin ko, ito na. Take two. We, the education stakeholders from various sectors, fervently support the initiatives of the Department of Education school divisions Manila as it strives to sustain the needs of the schools in terms of health and safety, quality education, access to learning, governance, the new normal, basic education through collaboration and involvement. As part of our corporate social responsibility, personal advocacy, and volunteerism in the spirit of Bayanihan, we commit ourselves to pledge our support by sharing our time and resources to assist the schools in the improvement, rehabilitation, maintenance,
and sustainability of the schools
and their environment towards the improvement of learning outcomes. We converge as one, realizing the vision of the Department of Education and incorporating of every millennial learner into action. So help us God. So help us God. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayton Zolweta, Director of AHA Learning Center, for the pledge of commitment and also to our partners and stakeholders. Our program is nearing its conclusion. And to give his message of thanks to all of us and to formally close our today's program, ladies and gentlemen, let's give the floor to Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan.
Hello, JC. Nandyan si attorney. Hello, JC.
Yes, sir. Attorney, baka nakamute po kayo.
Hello, attorney.
Once again, we would like to call in our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan, for the closing remarks and the message of thanks.
I believe, Sir Attorney, andyan na po ba?
Yes, narinig na ako?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, pasensya na, nag-lowbat yung aking laptop.
Okay lang po,
At any
sir.
rate, thank you very much. In fact, very successful itong ginawa ng SGOD. Not mistaken, the SGOD launch project ito, no? Of course, we would like to thank the private sector. In fact, this a tripartite, I think this is a tripartite project of the public sector composed of the national government, headed of course by the President Rodrigo Duterte and his secretary, Secretary Briones, and our regional director, and of course down to the superintendent, and of course the local government, headed by no other than our beloved Mayor Francisco Dumagoso. And of course, the participation of private sector. In fact, it is emanated from, I will quote the famous quotation of President Ramon Magsaysay when he said, "Those who have less in life should have more in law." And that is why there are so many laws, especially Republic Act 8525, which is adopted school law, which encourages private sector for their initiative and support to public educational system. And of course, siguro to trivia, because of one of the laws promulgated by Congress during the time of Senator Nene Pimentel, who sponsored the local government code, Republic Act 7160. That is the where the special education fund came from. And we are speaking of special education fund about billions of pesos coming from private sector. And even us, as taxpayer of real estate tax, some portion of our real estate tax will go to special education fund. And special education fund amounting to billions of pesos is now being used for the resilient education, billions of pesos because of the special education fund. And siguro a little trivia, magaling siya Mr. Alex Layos, ating Manila Youth Bureau. And of course, Mayor Isko Moreno, although Mayor Lim is also from Tondo. They are both from Tondo, Manila. Villegas High School, Vicente Lim Elementary School, where Alex came from, and now a graduate of Juris Doctor before PLM. And I hope yung nasabi ni Alex na batang Manileño will serve as an inspiration to all, not only in public school but also in private school, who studied in Manila and living in Manila to pursue their career in the future. That's all. Thank you very much to all stakeholders, the DepEd family, and the entire private sector who are very supportive to the cause of education. Thank you very much. And we will take our lunch now by virtual lunch. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent. At this point po, mga kapatid, mga kaibigan, mga panauhin, we will be having first our virtual Zoom picture po. So, kung pwede po sana paki-open po ang ating po mga camera.
Yes, partner. We
Yes,
request
partner.
all your
Oo.
cameras to, let's open our cameras for our virtual Zoom pictorial.
Pictorial, all right?
Yeah. Okay?
Ready na po ba tayo? So, bibilang po ako ng tatlo. All right, ready? Give your best smile. At the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Isa pa po. Again, 1, 2, 3. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
At dyan po nagtatapos ang ating Stakeholders Convergence. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga partners from private and public sectors, sa ating pong Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Maria Magdanela M. Lim, Assistant Superintendents, and of course, the mga chief supervisors, school heads, parents, and students. Thank you very much. Ako po ang isa sa naging tagapagdaloy, Ganyong Emmanuel V. Sales of Moises Salvador Elementary School, kasama ng aking partner.
Ako naman po, si Desiree P. Apasible of SDO Manila.
Thank you,
We
sir.
are
Thank
so
you, ma'am. Good
grateful to
afternoon.
have such a positive
Thank you,
feedback.
sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations po.
Yes.
Congratulations everyone.
Congratulations.